Oh boy, what do we have here today? We have Ascension, the private server based off of WoW Classic Retail and all of its subordinates. Oh, so I'm sure you've seen these ads on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, Discord. There's a lot of publicity about Ascension, and I mean a lot of it's really good. So you're probably gonna fall into one of three categories of players. You're gonna fall into a veteran of WoW itself and retail, someone who's played games like Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls Online, or you're gonna be coming into this completely new, fresh, and simple. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go on to the Ascension website at projectascension.gg, I believe. I will have that link down below. If you haven't already done that, you'll create your account, explore the shop, whatever you want to do. Make sure that you just look around, make sure that you're comfortable with it, because there's a lot of stuff to take in. For our sakes, we're not going to worry about any of the paid content, any of the bonus content, any of that. We're just going to pretend that we are a fresh player. I've never played this game. So I'm going to log in. I really suggest, if you're new, taking that remember password, remember account name. Saves you a lot of time. So what you should see when you first start playing this is Area 52, Alun Season 9, Unlockable Realms, and Development. Unlockable Realms is important to go over as well. It offers Wrath for the Lich King, custom content, and then it offers Rexar, which is essentially Ascension's version of their own retail. There are custom classes that we've always wanted in WoW, such as the Tinker, the Witch Doctor, so forth. These two are bundles, however. As you can see, they are store bundles. I do own both of them. I just don't have the PTR content for them, or client content, whatever the fuck. You need a custom system for it, so we're not going to worry about that. But say you like playing these type of contents, you can always come back and play them, so don't worry about that. But for the sake of what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing live. So Area 52, which is free pick, you can scroll over the game mode and the expansion. You can have a max of 10 active characters. If you have more than 10, they will become disabled. You can enable them through your Ascension profile on the forums or website. So don't worry about that. Make characters as you wish. Do with them as you want. This is not really important. This is just going to tell you sort of what the level cap is and where the zones are. For a new player, this isn't really important. The game mode is going to tell you what that game mode is. So free pick is obviously you're going to pick your own talents, your own spells. Wild card, you're going to roll it. Draft, you're going to pick from a select set. Excuse me. So, everything that ends with a season or a league will go on to Area 52. Area 52 is sort of Ascension's main server. Everything goes back onto it. However, the seasons offer both unique content, new content, and unique rewards. So, if you are interested in being a progressive player, usually it is better to play on the seasons and then carry over to Area 52. You will find it very, very behooving if you play a season or league, even if it's towards the end. Trust me, it will give you so much knowledge. So, for Season 9 Alone, we have a lot of new content. We have Mana Storm, we have Adventure Mode, we have a lot of new challenges, we have new variants of how this wildcard mode's working. We have new systems, and it's really great. So, we're going to select Alone. If you want to play Area 52, you can, but I suggest you play Alun. It's going to offer you a lot more to play with. Trust me. So, I have my level 60 character here. This is not what you have to worry about. I had a level 1 test character just to, when I was starting off to test things. There are some things that you need to take into note here. So, you have add-ons on your bottom left. Don't worry about this until you are a more experienced player, but if you need add-ons because you don't like certain features or you need things to help you, maybe you have bad hearing, and you need more visual cues, because I have bad hearing, for example. But I also have auditory cues and visual cues on some of my things, such as highlighted spells, don't stand there, etc. Don't worry about that. I will have that link down below for CurseForge, so if you are someone that's new that needs specific additions, you can change it. You can also change it through your settings. We'll get into that. So, we're going to start a new character. This is what you're going to see when you start your new character. You have never played this game before, or you have no characters. You'll have your body type 1 or body type 2, male or female. You'll have Alliance or Horde. For Ascension's sake, since this is not retail WoW, you do not need to worry about faction as much. a little sick, so I do apologize. So factions are going to come down to really starting zones, racials, how you want to play. There is some difference to account for, especially if you decide to do challenges, but as a new player starting off, your first playthrough, do not worry about that. We're going to look at our different races. We have human, and they have a few different useful passives. They have a everyman from themselves passives, which breaks them out of every CC. So CC means crowd control, so if you're stunned, you're slowed, or any of that, it will cleanse it if that is still in. They get bonus reputation gain, stealth, and all that. These other bonuses you see on that side are just small little bonuses. They're not huge, and that every man for themselves is obviously that can break out of speed altering and trapping effects. So it's more cosmetic, but there are racials that matter. For example, if you go to the Tauren or the Blood Elves, they have a silence and they have a war stomp respectively. The Orcs have a damage buff. The Night Elves have a cloak. The Dwarfs have a stone form, which is essentially a tank buff. And the Gnomes have a leap. If we had Goblins, they would also have a leap, but I do not believe Goblins are in this because it is classic. But anyway, so we'll scroll over them, read it. It's not a big ideal, not like a big idea. Like the Dwarves can find treasure chests easier. Gnomes have generally better talent skills for like engineering and all this other stuff. Generally, you're better crafters, but usually there are different class synergies. Like a Night Elf is going to be better with a Rogue because of their base passives. A Draenei is going to be better as a Paladin. A Blood Elf is going to be better as a Mage, so as a Troll. A Tauren's pretty good as a Warrior, just because they have that War Stomp. They have that second stun, but really, whatever you choose to play, because this is obviously essentially the same as Draft. It's Wild Pick. You're going to be picking your different cards. Pick your cosmetic, essentially. Pick who you want to be. Don't worry about it, the stats and passives as much, but think about it. If you want to play a up-close caster, you might want to take a Tauren for that stun. However, it's not something you need to worry about. So, we're going to play a Tauren. Actually, no, we're going to play a Blood Elf. Because Tauren and Orcs have their own starting zones, which if we go back here, humans, Dwarfs, Night Elves have their own starting zone. If we are in Burning Crusade, so would Draenei and Blood Elf. Otherwise, they have their sort of combined starting zones with these other races. Gnomes have their starting zones with Dwarfs. Undead, Blood Elf currently have their same starting zones. I don't know if Orc and Tauren do. Orc usually have the Barons, and Tauren usually have Mulgirl. Troll have Barons, not the Barons, my bad. They have Durotar, these two, and they have their own little sections. So we'll play Blood Elf just because that's easy. And we're going to name him Testing Skills. Customize as you want. When you're done, click Finish. Now we're going to have our nice little character here. We're going to click World. So the biggest thing to take away here is that there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to pop up. Take it as you take it. Do not try to rush through it. Do not try to figure it all out. When you first start playing through your first playthrough, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can get that you might not like, especially spell-wise. The settings, we're going to go over that. How to change your settings, where to change your settings, what the settings generally relate to. We'll go over add-ons a little bit more too once we're in. Because as you can see, I have my own add-ons. I have all these different little changes. Don't worry about this. For the sake of what we are doing, we're going to turn off all of these add-ons. I'm going to disable all except for Ascension and Sputter. Actually, my bad. I'm not going to turn them all off. If I remember correctly, that's going to mess it up. Well, we're just going to put them off in the corner. We're not going to worry about it. Don't worry about this. These are all custom features from the add-ons. Obviously, you can see I have a ton of add-ons. I have different raid bars. I have different targeting. I have the cosmetics. I have Evil Eye, Gatherer, details to tell me the damage I'm doing. DPM for bosses. It will help you out a lot with bosses. Auctioneer for prices. Bagger for one big bag, etc. Okay, so now that we're in, let's look at our settings a little bit before we start. So we have video settings. Obviously, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You could change your FPS, your viewing. We have sound, also self-explanatory. Key bindings and interface are the two big ones we want to focus on. There's also macros. Macros are going to let you set different combinations of spells. So if I want to cast 3 spells at once, I can essentially chain them. You're not going to be able to cast them all at once, but you'll be able to chain them where I can click that button 3 times and now cast all those 3 spells quickly. Instead of having to, sort it all out. So, interface is going to have all sorts of different things. It'll have dismount, it'll have targeting, it'll have auto loot. I really suggest you turn auto loot when you're new. It's going to help you a lot, but don't worry about that as prioritizing. So that when you hit your tab button, it will target that certain type of enemy. It has different combat things such as auto self-cast, auto attack. It has different displays, so I could take off my cloak, my helmet, all these different things. I could have different aggro sounds. Aggro sounds are pretty nice, because it's going to give you that little bzzz that you hear around you. Item level, loot information, PvP objectives. Objectives is going to show you those different quest objectives, allow you to do some different stuff. Soul Show is going to allow you to essentially make this chat bar over here a little bit easier to deal with. You don't want to see people saying disgusting or rude or whatever things. You can turn that off. You turn off chat bubbles so it's not in your way. You can disable spam filters so that if people are spamming, it doesn't lock it out. These action bars will allow you to add more action bars. So these 1, 2, 3, 4. If I had my EFUI set up, it would. You could also have 2 bars over here. I highly suggest that you add those bars if you need more space. You can use your key bindings to set them up, so don't feel like you have to worry about clicking everything. If you like to click things, not a big deal. But if you like to, use your 1, 2, 3, QWER, Control Q, etc., go for it. Names are obviously going to be names. You can change how names show up, so such as the NPCs, the Guardians. Guardians are going to be guards. Totems are going to be your little totems on the ground. Pets. Pets are going to be your little creatures that you fight with. Enemy players. NPC names. If I turn on NPC names, his name's going to show up. If I turn off NPC names, his name's going to go. Okay. So, vanity pets. Nameplates is just going to be this. Combat text, buffs, camera. You don't really need to worry about all this rest of this stuff, but generally just be familiar with it. Experiment with it a little bit, but don't get caught up with it. A lot of players end up getting caught up with it. Make it so that it is friendly to you, but don't worry about making every little thing perfect. Sometimes it just gets too much for you, trust me. I've been playing a WoW for a really long time, over 13 years. Actually, it might be 15, 16 years. No, 14 years. Yeah, it is 14 years. I would say it's going on to 15 years, which is really fucking crazy. It's been 5 and I've been playing this game. So anyways, now that that's done, you have key bindings. You can look at that, allow you to add those different hotkeys. WoW has a lot of customization in its baseline, so I mean, you can change a lot of things to be very user friendly. Again, don't get caught up on it, but make it comfortable. So, we're gonna come back here. We're gonna stand here, and we're gonna talk to our guy. Before we even get into spells, we're gonna talk to our guy. When you see an exclamation mark, that means it's a quest. It'll pop up with this little menu. You'll have your lore/description here. Sometimes you do have to read this, but usually this is just your roleplay. And you'll have your quest objectives and rewards. So obviously I'm going to get 40 experience for doing this. My quest objective is to speak with Shadow Priest Service. Farewell. I hit accept. It'll pop up over here. It'll show me who I'm looking for, and then it'll show a question mark. If I hit my M button, I will see on that map where it is located. If I hit my L button, it's going to show me how many quests I can have active and all my different quests. If I need to track a specific quest and make it show up here, I just hit track and it will show up on my sidebar. If I want to take that off, I just click that again. Boom, bang. So, we are playing wildcard mode. What that means is that we're going to have a little dice of destiny. We're going to be able to lock in up to 4 spells or change them. You can change them until you hit level 10. So, I don't like these spells, so I'm going to change them. I do like charge, so I will keep it. So I can hit keep or roll. Once I lock in that one spell, you're going to see that it stays. I still don't like my spells, so I'm just going to keep reloading until I find spells that I like. So I like this spell. It's going to give me a pet. And I like Eviscerate. So now I'm going to need to find something that builds combo points. Yeah, I like this. Okay. So once you find those 4 spells that you like, just keep rolling until you find them. Because there's a lot of spells, so don't feel like you need to specific spells. I always recommend having a casting healing, spell, and then the other two can be whatever you want. But on your first playthrough, don't worry about it. The wonderful thing about Ascension is that we have Prestige, so when you finish up your character and you don't like it, you can rerun it without having to create a new character, get more rewards for it, and change it up. If you like it, if I hit N here, I could see my specializations. I can save it and change specializations. Vanity and specializations are not really something to worry about right now, but they will come into handy later. So will skill cards. As you progress, you will get skill cards, and I can slot them. It will give me specific spells more likely to show up when I re-roll. Golden skill cards will mean that you will get that card. Same for talent cards. Talents are just these little different modifiers and buffs. They are important, but don't get caught up with it. It is an RNG mode with a loon because it is a wild card. So now that we are up here, we're going to look at our different stats. Strength is obviously going to be beneficial for people that are using plate and warrior or death knight spells. Warrior or death knight or feral tank, because feral has a bear form. Feral tank. There is no guardian. So yeah, it would be feral. There is a guardian spec for druids. I'm not sure why they don't have it. I think it's just classic, but there is a guardian spec that would also take it. Or agility. Agility is going to be your rogues, your fast hitters, your leather armor. Intelligence is going to be your cloth armor and your casters. Really, for casters, unless you're going shaman, this is going to be your main always picking. Usually with the different melees, you can kind of pick in between your armor and how you're building. Spirit's going to be primarily for your healers and regeneration. So people that are going to be doing support builds, it's more focused on regeneration and healing capabilities. So since I have a melee and a caster, I'm going to go agility because it's kind of the in between. And I also have that charge. So you can hit P for your spell bar or your spell book. Oh my god, I am sick. And if you have a pet, take out call pet, put it somewhere. That'll be important. Pets have, in Classic, 3 options. Later on, they do have 4. If it is an Ascension, you can move 2, which will move them to a location. Otherwise, you have attack, follow, stay. They will have between 3 to 4 abilities. Usually, they could have as low as 1, as high as 4. Right-click it, and it will auto-cast it. If it does not have that right-click option, you must click it yourself. They have aggressive, so they will attack everything. They have defensive, so they will stay near you and only attack what you attack or when you are attacked, and passive, where they will do nothing. So, we're going to turn in our quest. You see that question mark? You come up to him, complete quest. It will give you your experience. You'll see a bar down here, or a bar over here, based on how you have your settings and add-ons. Up here, you'll have your resources, so mana, energy, rage. Mana is used for casting spells. Energy is used for casting agility spells such as rogues and feral. Rage is used specifically for warrior.
What is it?
So we have these different quests we're going to pick up. We're going to go over these books too. So this book here, the Beginner's Book of Ascension, will give you a bunch of different quests for new players. Go ahead and take them. So I've already done all of them pretty much. So you'll get Marks of Ascension, which are used for rerolls, heirloom, skill cards, mystic enchants, all these other essentially progressive stuff. Take them if you have them. Otherwise, this guy can train you up on your spells so that you upgrade them. Later on, as you get higher levels, you'll get different levels of them. You upgrade them through him. The Book of Artisans will sell you artisan supplies or profession, as well as give you those different skills. Alchemist, blacksmith, enchanter, engineer, and tailor are crafting. They are crafting primaries. First aid, fishing, cook, and woodcutter are secondary, so you can have them all. Herbalist, miner, and skinner are all primary gathering. You can have up to 2 primaries and as many secondaries. Obviously, you'll see them here. Woodcutting will just go down here because it is a custom feature, but you can have them all at their own levels. Obviously, you can hit P, go to your professions, and it will explain to you as you wish, but you can only have 2. So, take them as you want. My suggestion is to take Herbalist and Miner. Leatherworker is really good if you're playing leather or a leather armor. My bad. If you're playing a more plate armor, blacksmith. If you're playing cloth, tailor. If you're playing mail, it still comes back down to blacksmith. Some of it's in leatherworker. Sorry, my bad. It comes down to leatherworker, and some of it's in blacksmith, if I recall correctly. But mail, leather, leatherworker, cloth, tailor, plate, blacksmith. Don't get too caught up on these though. I suggest taking miner and herbalist for your first leveling run, just because it's going to make your life a lot easier. So once you've done that, we're going to come out. We're going to hit M. Obviously, we have a bunch of quests. We can see it on the right. There's going to be a bunch of quests here. When you click on a quest, it will show up in the area where that thing is. So obviously, since it's a killing quest, it's going to show up where all those mobs are going to be, and it's going to show a little thing. There is going to be a quest I'll show you that's going to show up over here, but it's actually over here. So sometimes you do have to read the descriptions, especially on these older quests. But don't get too caught up on it. So we're going to kill a bunch of mobs, because obviously we have to kill them for our quest. And really, this is just going to be your starting. It's going to be very repetitive to start, but don't get too worried about it. As we level up, you're going to notice that we're going to get more stats. Once we get level 10, we'll unlock the ability to start getting new spells and changing our spells. So we're going to loot these mobs. Don't get too worried about your space. Obviously, as you get more into the game, you'll get more space with different items through your vanity, or just bags in general. So let's say I have a better item. I'm going to hit my shift button, and it's going to show me the stats. If it's green, it means it's a increase. If it's red, it means it's a negative. It means I'm losing or I do not have. So obviously, since I don't have spirit, it's going to show red. You can go into your C button and see your different stats and how they affect you. So strength is going to increase your attack power, which is going to increase your melee. Agility is going to increase critical strike, armor, and spell. Intelligence, the same, is going to be mana, spell, melee, spirit, stamina, and that's going to change as you get different items. Different items have different effects, and we'll go into that. But we're just going to equip these. I'm going to take our next quest since we leveled up, and we're going to run out here. We're going to go to this guy, we're going to take that quest, and then we're going to sell. So there are two types of things that you want to be looking at when you're starting off, is this anvil and a little bags icon. These book icons are trainers. Don't worry about them since we have the Book of Ascension. I'm going to sell everything I have. I'm going to delete these two since I can't sell them and I'm not playing ranged. If you're playing ranged, it would go right here in this little slot for ammo. And you would have it in your inventory, but since I'm not playing ranged, I'm not going to worry about it. So, now we have these two quests. We're just going to keep doing them. We're going to finish up. Obviously, this is going to get repetitive when you start. But as you progress and learn more about the game, you'll be able to pick your own starting zone. As I was saying, Blood Elves have currently their starting zone here in Tristfall Glads. If they were playing, they would have theirs in Eversong, as that is their starting zone, but obviously we're not in TBC, so they'll have theirs with Undead. Horde will have Duratar and the Mulgur for their starting zones as well. You can also pick and choose as you want. With the way that Ascension works is that you can get a starting zone swap, and they'll let you change it. For the Alliance, it will be Dunmorgura, Alun Forest, and Tidrasil. So we're just going to keep killing these mobs. Once we're done with that quest, again, we'll get that little question mark. That means we're done. We can move on. So if you have something like this that happens, don't worry about it. Just click off it. Back. Or it might be track. I don't know why it's being weird, but if it's something does it like that, relatively once you start running towards the area, it should fix itself. For mine, it's not, but that's okay. So ours is just to kill a bunch of animals. So now we're gonna do that. And as you're killing animals, you will get different loot. Some of them will drop meat. That'll be like for cooking. Some of them will drop ores if they're like an elemental. Okay, so now that I've killed these mobs, let's say that I have professions. So I'm going to go to my pets, my companions, and I'm going to take out my Book of Artisans. So if you get a bundle, when you first start, you'll have it. This will be where your mounts will go. Your mounts are global. If they are an achievement or a custom mount, if they are just a base mount, they will be per person. I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to learn, let's just say miner and herbalist. If it was a skinner, I'd be able to skin this mob. It will say skinnable if it's skinnable. If it's not, obviously it won't say it. If it's a mineable, it'll say mineable. If it's a herbable, it'll be herbable. There's certain mobs, such as elementals that are nature or earth, will be able to be mined or herbed. That's even the word that you'd use, is herbed. So now, as you can see, I just hit on my map, I right click, I hit find herbs and find minerals. It's going to show up as a yellow dot. If I go over there, it's going to either be green, orange, or red. If it's orange, that means that you are still adapting to that new skill or herb. So because of that, I'm going to get the most experience out of it, and I'm going to get a lot of skill. Usually that can be between 2 to 3 skill. Sometimes it's 1. But as you can see, I had 0 herbalism, now I have 3. And I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff. Ideally, you want to keep selling this stuff because it's going to get you gold. You're going to need 3 gold roughly for your first mount. And you really want to get your mount because WoW has a lot of running. And I guarantee you don't want to run. Because who does? Fuck running. So, obviously, I'm going to be a little cheater here. I have a loot bot, so I'm going to use that just to speed this up for your guys' convenience and mine. Loot bot will loot these different mobs around us so that I'll get those quest objectives without having to worry about looting. Because really, I don't like looting. It's one of my biggest quirks in where I was looting. If I don't have auto or group loot, I just don't like looting. Don't get me wrong, I love money. It's just very time consuming. You have to loot everything individually. Especially when you're doing it like this. So, as you can see, we're pretty much done here. So we're going to just kill our last few bats. And as you can see right here is our ore. It's going to glow as well if it is a profession material. So keep that in mind. So, if I went over and harvested it. Also, and if it's like this, where it's grayed out, that means it's trash. It has no purpose at whatsoever. Get rid of it. Sell it, or get rid of it. Gems are going to be used for engineering and jewelry if you are in an expansion that supports it. Rough stone is going to be used for blacksmithing and engineering. So everything sort of has its own use, so keep that in mind. Obviously, since I'm not doing any professions right now past showing you, I'm going to throw it away. But so as you can see, it'll show up on your map. Right click. You can also find repair, food and drinks, regenerates, those little icons that I was talking about. Mailbox, where if you get mail or an Ascension order, which by the way, if you do buy a bundle, such as an Ascension bundle, it will always show up in your mailbox for a year. So don't feel like you're going to lose it or anything, or you don't know where it is and you get mad. It will be in your mailbox every single time, without doubt. So keep that in mind. So with the addition of a loon, we're going to have adventurous catches. Adventurous catches are really great. So what it used to work as is when you were a new player and you were just coming in, you would not be able to get your head, your shoulder, your neck, usually not rings, not trinkets, but now with the addition of these little adventure catches, you get scaled up items as well as scrolls of fortune, which are used for unlearning your spells and wildcard. So I can get a raid or dungeon drop, or I could get an enhanced quest drop, and it will always be scaled to me, so I don't need to worry about it. So I could get a level 20 dungeon item from Defias, from the Defias Mines, and it'll be level 5. So I open these, and you'll see that I just got a scroll of talents. It will despawn after 7 days. It will also despawn after you change or prestige. So if I do not keep that specialization and I decide to prestige and change, it will disappear. So really, you got to use these. If I hit unlearn after level 10, it will unlearn that spell and it will change it. If you have skill cards, it will also take that into account, so keep that in mind. So since it's blue, that means it's better, and obviously like I was talking about, you'll see that little equip thing and that vendor item. That vendor item, this is 1 gold. So if I sold this, I would have half the money I need for a mount, but obviously it's an upgrade, so I'm going to wear it. That equipped is bonus stats, so it could be different. It could have attack power, it could have PvE power, which will be bonuses at level 60 against PvE mobs. PvP will be opposite PvP. So we're just going to equip all these different things. Now that I've equipped it, I'm going to go take all these other quests. And we're going to continue on. So, right here in your I button, as you hit level 15, you'll unlock mana storms, dungeons, and then as you get higher raids, you also unlock PvP, and you'll unlock Find a Group. Find a Group isn't really as used as it is on Ascension, and obviously you will have the ability to get to a guild once you hit that level cap. At level 20, you'll be able to use the global chat, but we're just going to keep taking these quests, just because we want to take as many quests as we can, so we can do what that guy's doing, and we turn in all of our quests, and we get a lot of experience. So just run back and forth. Like I said, it's going to be really repetitive when you start off. Don't feel pressured. And that's really it. This is going to be really it. So like I was saying earlier about that quest marker, this right here is actually the turn-in spot for that quest. So the actual quest is going to be over here. If I read that, it would say northeast Defknow. Since we're in Defknow, we can see it right here. We can go northeast, and we can conclude that it's over there. So as I run closer to it, it will pop up. So if it's something like that, sometimes you do have to read it, but generally you don't need to read stuff past that quest objective. This will change also as we get his remains. A little quest objective, you can have a multi-series quest objective, so keep that in mind as well, where it could go and give you different objectives as you complete them, similar to other MMOs, but not as repetitive. Usually quests are just one do and done, unless they're unique quests such as fill quest or fetch quest. Some fetch quests have unique quest options. So we're gonna keep harvesting, keep picking up our stuff. As you progress, you'll also be able to get potions of experience that will help you do this experience a lot faster. Get into that dungeon, get into that mana storm. On the dungeons are instances instances of specific scenarios. You will not change your location in the world, so you can do dungeons from anywhere by just hitting that button, I, and it will show up. With that being said, however, keep in mind that it is a queue. With mana storms, the new feature, they are scaled scenarios, kind of like just scenarios in general from a lot of games where you go and complete into, how do I word this? It's pretty much a unique scenario of a dungeon that you would go and level either as yourself or as a friend or party or whatever, because you can have up to 4 people, I believe. It might be more. It might be 5. It might be a full party, but I'm not sure. I haven't really played around with Mana Storm past solo. I think my high is like 300 or something. Not 300, 200. I'd have to check. I did a lot of them, but it gets really repetitive really fast, but it is a great way to get experience level. I've leveled up through doing the Mana Storm exclusively. Not the best at the builds. And here's our Samuel guy that I was talking about earlier. As you can see, the quest marker has changed, and we found him. So, that's just something to keep in mind. We're going to keep doing this quest, running around, picking up stuff, killing stuff. We want to get to level 10. Once we get to level 10, we'll talk about that, and then we will get to our final notes on that. Once you get to level 15, again, though, a lot of features will open up to you, so just keep it in mind that it's just kind of a waiting game. Play through, enjoy your first time, especially if you're new. There's a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of zones too to explore, but as we progress, you'll be able to go and run through them. You have your capital cities, which is Orgrimmar and Durotar and Stormwind and Elune Forest. Those will offer you a lot of different content, as well as innkeepers, PvP rewards, etc. I need to find more scavenge goods. Because obviously we're missing a few scavenge goods. A few, I mean one, but a few is enough for me. Oh, and here's chests. You can find chests in the open world. If you're playing a dwarf, you'll be able to find these on the map. They'll have different loot based on your level. Or zone, I should say. I believe it's zone. It might be level. Dungeons are presets, as I recall. It will give you experience as well as that loot. So sometimes it is a good chance to go and get some money money and other stuff, but don't worry about them too much. So obviously, as you can see, we're about to be done with this quest. That quest is going to tick off, and as we continue, we're going to tick them off. What I like to do, and what I recommend as a new player, because it's going to get you the most experience gain, is run through all of your quests and turn them all in at the same time. So since we're all in an area, we can do this close loop. Go over here, come back, turn in his corpse, boom, bada bang. And what that will do is allow us to get the most experience out of it, as well as get ourselves a decent bit of Marks of Ascension and Adventures catches all at once without having to worry about it. Running back and forth will cost you a lot of time. This will save you a lot of time. So going into Mystic Enchants are something that you're going to get more into as you progress. They're going to give you unique power buffs and ways to change your spells. It could be as much as giving you a bonus damage on, say, your spell, to giving you, as you can see, these enchantments that give you mana and spell power. They will get powerful and more powerful as you progress.
I can't cast that yet.
So the more you get, the more you put on, the stronger they will have. Their effects will get powerful as well. So if I trigger it twice, I will get essentially double that buff. I will get 100% more of that buff.
That spell isn't ready yet.
We're just going to finish doing this. I'm not worried about looting. Obviously, if you are worried about looting,
It's too far away.
just buy a bag or something. Go Taylor, I don't know. But I don't really care. So we're just going to kill all these mobs. Because I know some people, it's like a big thing for them. And I understand. I used to be that way too. I am that way when I'm going
Still recharging. Can't cast that.
We're kind of looking for time efficiency here.
Isn't ready yet.
So, if you go into your spell bar, you'll have Ascension Vanity items. Since I own a bunch of Vanity items, obviously, I can just click them and use them. But you still have your different hearthstones, your different stones of retreats. Stones of retreats are unique variants of these hearthstones. They'll have specific areas that you can retreat to every 15 minutes. Otherwise, it's every 30 minutes for whatever your hearthstone's set at. Which is this little icon with the innkeeper. It will let you set that. You'll have your different passives here and racials. You'll have your professions in here as well. Your incantations if you recruit a friend. Your other passives, your primary stat, throw, wand. These are only really necessary if you have those items. What's important is rest. If we take that out and we have no mana or health, we click it, we'll sit down, and we will restore HP and mana. I suggest you pull that out, just because it will make it a lot more easier for you. As we go back to turn in our quest, we'll also talk about challenges, since I think you've gotten a good grasp of our introduction. So now we're going to go into the mines, and we're going to kill these 5 spiders, and then we're going to use our hearthstone. So that hearthstone is a 30-minute cooldown. However, you can set it to any innkeeper. It is not paid for, it is not exclusive. All you have to do is set it up. So that means that you have to physically go there and talk to them. For Flight Pass, it's going to kind of be the same idea. You'll see these little Hermes boots, or boots of stiffness if you play League. It'll be either red or blue or white. If it's white, it is neutral. Anyone can go there. If it's red, it is Horde. If it's blue, it is Alliance. When you also scroll over it, it'll tell you. There is an item in Vanity that is essentially going to unlock those for you for that expansion. So for me, it's going to be the Feather of Azeroth. Or if I was in Burning Crusade, the Feather of Burning Crusade. It will unlock that for your faction. You do not have to unlock them again on that character, but you do have to unlock on another character. However, with Vanity, Vanity is not exclusive. It is inclusive. You can put it on any character, anytime, as long as you own it and it's synced up, which is why you have that Vanity sync. Every season's different. You might have to buy it. It depends on what the rules of that season are. So, we're going to kill these spiders.
I'm out of range.
We're just going to keep going.
Not ready.
Because you really want to finish up these quests and just want to move on. But, so, like I was saying, those hearthstones will allow you to teleport back. So now I want to save some time, so I'm gonna look for my hearthstone. I'm gonna look for my hearthstone. And, oh, there's my hearthstones. So I suggest you drag it out because you will lose these in your inventory. That's why I dragged mine out. Click it. Gonna cast for 10 seconds. You're gonna be casting. If you get hit, it will be interrupted. So try to find a safe spot. And now, boom, I'm back here where I was saved to. Now I can just run out. Or go on the timer. It'll be great. So this is your little general supplies guy. He will sell you a dice, a destiny, in the starting zone if you lose it. Items that are kind of like this, where they're a beige color, are your profession items. You will need them if a profession requires them, so keep that in mind. Or they are a unique item in general. So try to keep that in mind. Don't throw out your items that are important, like I have before. So, on that note, we also have a use item. Certain use items will require you to right click on them and it will give you that little prompt. Obviously, it'll show you where to use it, etc. Other items, you can right click on this grave. So for Marlowe's grave, you can right click on it, it will use it, and then you'll be done. But for other items, keep in mind that you might have to right click on it to use it. So if it says use, make sure you check it out, because everything's kind of different. So as you can see, there's going to be a cog there. That is my interact button, or interaction symbol. I right click, it interacts, I finish the quest. And as you can see, my status updates, and now I'm done. Now we're going to turn in all of our quests.
What is it? Speak quickly. Farewell.
So as you progress around your zone, you'll also get different little areas to go to. Kind of pick and choose. Some are better to go to in groups, some are not. In general, we're not too worried about it.
I am forsaken.
We are not too worried about it at all. Okay. So now we're at level 7 and we are 3 levels away from our destiny level. And by destiny level, I mean level 10. Once we get to level 10, we can start re-rolling things, learning new spells, and getting into the real meat and grime of the content. We're going to open all these. As you can see, I got another boot, but it's not as good as these boots. This is a dungeon boot. This is just a rare boot. And there's no upgrades, so we're just going to keep going on. As you progress, really, it's going to be all about just moving around and continuing on. Once we finish this quest, get over here, I'm going to call it. I think I've provided a good 45 minutes, roughly, of introduction. This is sort of your starting. I will show you the capital city, just to get you guys kind of familiar with it. And that's really it. I mean, there's a lot to explore. I will have a lot of things linked down below to be as useful as possible for you. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. I mean, the game is a lot to take in, especially if you've never played WoW, never messed around with anything. So, just ask questions. I mean, it's not difficult, but it's also not easy for a lot of people because it takes just getting into it. This is your capital city. They'll have all this different stuff to do. As you get level 10, you'll unlock Silas, and you'll be able to talk to this guy, because I want to show you this guy. You can talk to him or his ogre. You'll be able to claim free, yes, you heard me, free skill cards, or you'll be able to pay them with Mark of Ascensions. I believe Mark of Ascension is after you hit level 60. You can change your specializations, claim their rewards. Golden skill cards you'll have to buy, but they will unlock those skill cards I was talking about in N, and that will give you a guarantee. It is random though, just keep that in mind, but it will give you a guarantee to get that card as you're leveling. Dark Moon prizes are different skill cards that you could buy for the cards that you're going to get for buying into the stuff and just having it. Prizes, unique prizes, and skill cards. You'll be able to get them as you buy them. So just keep in mind that it's like a progressive reward. So you could save up for that thing that you really want. So there's a little bit of protection there. And here's going to be your auction house. This will be if you want to sell items or buy items off of players. You'll have your daily crafting quest. Once you hit a certain level, you'll be able to talk to guards to show you where everything is in your capital city. You'll have your bazaar for your cosmetics and your different transmogs, so if you want to look a specific way. You have your traveling salesman who will sell you cosmetic items. And that's really it. I mean, You also have your high risk stuff, but we don't worry about it. We'll go over our trial master guy real quick because he is important. These are the trial rewards, but it's not the person that we want to talk to. Instead, it's this guy. Over there is going to be our PvP. Over there is going to be our high risk, and this is our challenge board. Our challenge board, as we progress in levels, will offer us different challenges for unique catches and rewards. Marks of Ascension, gold. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Yeah, Marks of Ascension, gold, mystic orbs, mystic runes. These catches will scale to you in your item level. You can complete them for gold or for Bazaar tokens, which are the unique tokens from the store. You can buy them with gold. Now, since I'm a fresh spawn, I could pick all sorts of challenges. As you prestige, this will change to prestige variants, but as you start, before you do anything, you can pick up these quests and change it. Change these different things from level 1 and stuff. You can get rewards for it, etc. This will be your War Herald, which will give you quests for high risk. That will be your PvP cure and vendors. And then that will be your adventure. And that's really it. The only other two people that are important to talk to is Chromie, who you will talk to when you hit level 60. She will let you restart your game, and you'll be able to earn rewards for it. You'll be able to see these little detailed informations on it, quest, exotic pets, buffs, items, gold, currency, etc. And what you'll get for it. You'll be able to buy different items from her for that stuff. For prestiging, you'll be able to buy cosmetics, you'll be able to buy mounts, you'll be able to buy heirlooms. Same for him. He'll just sell it to you for Marks of Ascension, and he'll give you some tutorial guides. He'll also sell you some other stuff for gold. And that's it. That's it, guys. I mean, that's Ascension. I mean, that's been our 45-ish minutes. I hope you enjoy it. I really suggest you check it out. I know that a lot of people will probably see the league stuff, a lot of different stuff, and I mean, that's true, but it's not going to be instantaneous. You're going to have to play around a little. You're going to have to enjoy it. You're going to have to test it out. It's not for everyone, so don't get me wrong. It's a really fun game, but it's not for everyone. So if you're not into those grindy MMOs, it might not be for you. But at the same time, there's so many different content revenues. There's guilds, there's Mana Storms. This is like one of the best seasons I play because there's so many different revenues. There is, I believe, invasions coming back, so you'll be able to do open world invasions. It's just really good. So play around with it. If it's not for you, that's okay. But I really think that there is sort of a content for everyone. There's gathering, there's professions, but have fun with it. I mean, and that's it. I hope you all have a good day, good night, good evening. This has been August, coming to you from America.